Hey y'all, what is up? It is Balcony, and I am here to kick some spiritual alchemy, okay? Normally, I really do go deep into the spiritual stuff, but I just wanted to talk about it because it's the Pisces transit. Shout out to the Pisces season. I hope it's treating you well, okay? Shout out to the Pisces too. Happy birthday to y'all. But my spidey senses started tingling, right? It always tingle, and especially when I feel like something is up. And I was like, it's Pisces season, it's sleepy time, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the close out, right? And a lot of illusions and dreams and stuff like that can happen here, under this season. I was like, watch them try something. Just watch them. I don't know what they're going to do yet, but watch them, right? And I'm not necessarily saying that they over with, but this is what I peeped thus far. So people were talking about the Kim Kardashian pic when she has all the aliens, right? And I was like, I heard about it, and I didn't think, too much about it. I don't like, follow like Kardashians or nothing like that. But, I know they're very influential people. So I was, just heard the gossip or whatever like that, moving on, right? Then on my YouTube scroll, I see UFO in something about Congress talking about it, or like, the government talking about it, right? I'm like, why is the government talking about UFOs? Shouldn't y'all be talking about money? Because ain't that the problem right now? The money's funny, okay? The money ain't adding up, right? Which the money was a bubble anyway, but that's another conversation. But the money, okay? You got whole nations over here. They can't get no money. We need to be discussing the money. Show me the money, okay? No talks about that. We talking about the aliens. Are you serious? Child, we need every hand on deck, okay? We need to get this situation it's settled somehow, child. But no, anything, right? We're talking about the aliens, okay? And I know there's a lot of things to cover, right? But I just thought that was interesting, right? She posted a pic, people talking about they seen some aliens, or they talking to some aliens, right? I'm like, but here's the thing, though, okay? It's agree to disagree, right? Maybe you think there's aliens, maybe you don't, right? Agree to disagree, right? What I do know, all right, about aliens are the terminologies that we use, especially like when we identify people, like you're an alien, right? And the illegal alien in particular, right? I remember hearing that as a kid, and when I heard alien, I thought like E.T., right? But no, it was like an illegal alien was like this person, who looked like they were running. I don't know why they was running, but they looked like they were running. I'm like, why is this is an illegal alien? It takes a little time to process it, on a little mind, but eventually, right, you come into a world of knowing that there are jurisdictions, and there are citizenships and nationalities and places that you can be based off where you were born, okay? And then there are places where you may have to work to gain access in, right? Like you got a house, you got to knock on my door, I got to invite you in. Same thing with other nations, okay? And I was understanding that, right? But I didn't get the whole illegal part. I was like, what's illegal about it? And then I got it, right? Okay, like, oh, they're foreigners, right? And then why are we calling them an alien, though, right? I apologize. They're illegal because they're there because they're not born there, right? So, and they don't maybe have a rite of passage, right? Or, anything saying that they should be there. But then I was like, what make them an alien? Because they just look like a person to me, right? I get it to be illegal, like trespass. I got that, right? Because I always see the no trespassing signs, right? You wasn't supposed to go over that person's house. You can't be in that lady's yard. Okay, she said no trespassing. Don't throw that ball over there, right? Don't go in her yard, right? So I got that, but I didn't get the whole, like I said, I didn't get the alien part. Because I was like, they just look like people, they just like, they're different kind of people, right? They didn't necessarily look like my ethnicity, but I was like, they look like people to me. So then you find out that the alien is a traveler, right? A foreigner, okay? The alien part comes in from the foreign aspect, right? And, it don't really process in your mind like that because you just think it's a foreigner, right? But just real talk, like if you just drop any average American off in, China, right? They don't look like they're Chinese. They don't look like they're from that area, right? If you just, like average American, right? Like Asian American, maybe. But, take little on me. Drop me off in China. I don't even know how to read the sign, ma'am, okay? I wouldn't know how to ask for help. I don't know any Chinese words at all, right? I'd be using Google Translator. That's what I would do. Okay, I'd be walking around my phone with Google Translator, okay? It would be like an alien to me, though, right? It would be like an alien. I would be like an alien there. I wouldn't be familiar with things, right? Maybe the way they cross the streets are different, all kind of things, right? Every nation is set up a little bit differently, and if you're not from there, right, it's going to be a little foreign to you, okay? So that would make you alien-like. And so when these people started talking about, like, the aliens, right, I straight up went into, like, citizenships and nationalities, and this whole one world idea that, people keep talking about and stuff like that. The way things are set up with all the technology, I don't know. My thing is like, if it's all one world, right? Typically what I've seen when things kind of come together based under a person's rulership, right, is that the people who are already there lose a bit of their identity. They lose a bit of their culture and who they are and how they express themselves and what they do for commerce and how they, overall morally relate to each other. So I'm not excited. I don't think any of us are, right? The government who deals with politics and facts and what can be seen, the government don't even deal with like spirituality. Like, the government, church and state are very different, right? So the government who don't even really deal in those unseen things is talking about it. Like, that's strange, right? So to me, my mind just goes to the like, covert stuff, right? What aliens could they be talking about, right? Deciding that America and Canada and Mexico and France and Europe and Australia and South Africa, Turkey, Russia, deciding that all these nations can come together and be one, that is wild. Okay, that is just like out of this world wild right now. That's alien to me, okay? Because people are so different and we're so unique, and all those differences should be celebrated, right? I would never want to like lose that thing, right? If everybody just kind of started talking the same and being the same, I just, I don't like it. But that's where my mind went, right? Especially with how crazy and fragile so many systems are, right? What would be the biggest bailout to all these systems being so crazy would be all of us uniting, all of us no longer being alien to one another, or certain aliens that have certain ideas, coming in and invading people, right? And maybe the government is the alien. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously though, these are the people, and because, okay, here's the thing about the government. Now, this is what you don't know. Okay, let me go occult for you. Okay, I'm glad that you stayed this long. Let me go occult for you, right? We are still under Roman rulership, okay? Let me just talk to you about the United States of America, okay? First of all, when I think about the capital, or I just thought about this for some reason, because I think it's a constellation in the sky called Columbia, and also I think about District of Columbia, and then I remembered America, I think, means Columbia, if I'm not mistaken, right? So the District of Columbia, America, right? All these things kind of tying in together. So when I look at Columbia, or district, right? Of course, the district is describing like, DC, these two poles, right? The district, okay? Now, Columbia looks like column and Bia. And that makes sense, right? Because you're thinking about what you're holding up, principles, laws, things like that. A pillar, a column would make sense to hold those things upon, right? So the column makes sense, right? Then I looked up Bia. Bia means Zenobia, which is Zeus, okay? So literally the column of Zeus. This is the district column of Zeus, okay? And if you think you're not still in Roman times, right? What do we celebrate every 4 years? The Olympics. They put it right up in your face, okay? The thing about the Greeks, and I like to study the mythologies and stuff like that, just as we're talking about occult stuff, right? There's a lot of like little secret stories in the mythologies that make you think like, what the fuck, right? Now, particularly, okay, with Zeus, okay, because we're in Pisces season, Jupiter rules this house. So let's go ahead and talk about Zeus real quick, right? Since we're talking about Columbia, okay, so Zeus coming up. Zeus literally rules this house, right? So to think about aliens and illusions, dreams like that, and this is the United States, who doesn't typically talk about like fairy tale shit, doesn't really get into race, religion, and what churches can do and stuff like that, or, only talks about the facts, right? For them to talk about like aliens like that just seems so dreamy to me, just so like, oh my gosh, why is DC talking about it, right? But I could get them talking about things because Zeus doesn't mind playing those games of delusion with you, okay? Zeus probably wouldn't be as powerful as he was if he wasn't playing games of delusions, real shit. So you got Zeus here, Jupiter here, okay? And as things close out in the end, all right, when you think about your experience, okay, you can think about the things that, overall, was this a dream or was this kind of like some kind of, illusion and things like that, right? That's what the Pisces vibe is. So to have like dreams, you know, fantasies, things that we can escape in, right? Like just take some escape talk, right? The world's going to shit. They know it. The money's terrible. Everything's terrible, right? The getting goods and services to people, terrible, okay? Amazon used to get my packages in 2 days. Why I gotta wait a week now? I wait a week. I got Prime to watch videos, I guess. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I guess it's free shipping. You know. But anywho, we can't get nothing right. Just can't get right. But we can talk to aliens. Like, y'all gotta be kidding me, right? But again, this is just like a Zeus or something, kind of, you know, just like a ritual thing. Just kind of like celebrate who they run with, right? Who they districting, who they united around. The United States of Colombia. And Colombia is Zeus, okay? I'm just telling you, okay? Now, this is what I'm going to tell you a little bit more occult tea, too. Shout out to my homie Dolo, the pilot, man. Dolo basically said, I don't want to make this too long, and I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, because with these aliens, honey, it's fun to me, okay? But let's talk about Zeus. All hail Zeus, okay? Zeus, of course, 12th house. This is this is the fish, right? The pisk, okay? Now, Jesus, of course, was the fisher of men, okay? He was saving folks left and right, okay? So, when you say Jesus in Spanish, it's pronounced Jesus. So, this is a Zeus reference. People don't, you know, get that, but it is referencing Zeus. So, these people at one point were somehow in mythology or just by association, the namesake, okay, because the J is not an old word. The J is not an old letter. The J is something that we just started using like maybe 500 years ago, 600 years ago, something like that, right? So Jesus, Jesus, Zeus, right? The fisher of men. And when I think about also Jupiter actually rules the ninth house as well. And this is Sagittarius constellation. So that constellation points to the crux of the cross. And this is the whole symbol of Jesus, right? So Jesus carried the cross, okay? And Sagittarius is pointing at the cross over there because it's in the Centaur constellation. People talk about pagan, right? But I don't think people really realize how much paganism is in religion. All this stuff is about the stars, okay? Now what they did was they put this together and called it a church, okay? Now the word church means circle. When you look at the etymology on church, it says circle, circle. Okay, the only circles that I can really identify by way of spirituality would be the astrology wheel. Okay, but like a circle to me. Okay, and Zeus is the ruler of that circle. He's the ruler of the dominion, right? He was the guy that had shit going. Okay, he having kids with everybody, right? Zeus damn near everybody, daddy, brother, cousin, uncle, father, granddaddy, right? Zeus was getting it in. All right. And here it is. Now, Jesus had a different story, of course, but Jesus, was very pure, but he definitely still followed the word of God, okay? So Zeus, okay, is going to be the exalted or the highest God. And I just think it's interesting that in this particular Pisces transit, okay, with all the delusions and stuff like that that's going on, America got the nerve. Now, I don't know if no other nations that started talking about they seen aliens and stuff like that. I don't know. They ain't telling us, because I don't know, what's going on in other nations. But it's just interesting that they would sit up here and talk about these grander ideas when so much craziness is going on in the world. It just seems like a whole parlor trick to get our attention off what we really need to talk about, which is like what's going on, what's happening, how are we going to fix this, okay? What can we put in place? What policies, okay? Can we survive this, right? And how do we, okay? But if they can get you talking about aliens, honey, that job well done, okay? So don't get rocked to sleep under the season, this transit. Pisces is tricky, okay? It's a confusing time sometimes, trying to figure out what direction you should go into when you start to set anew, okay? And they bet on that, all right? Plus, come and follow me. If you ain't following me, I'm finna get up here, get some content out here, okay? So we can really talk about these energies, talk about what's going on in the universe and in the atmosphere, what's going down, for real, okay? Because we need to work together like they working together. All right, but I don't want to make this too long, y'all. So that's all I got. I love y'all. Bye.